Indians use the long ball to close out the road trip with a win in Cincinnati. Now the AL's best home run hitting team invades Cleveland. The Blue Jays now sit in fourth place in the tough AL East, and Jake Westbrook will try to keep them in check next on Sports Time Ohio. From Progressive Field in downtown Cleveland, Ohio, the Indians return home to open up a homestand tonight against the Toronto Blue Jays, hard charging in the American League Eastern Division. Hi again, everyone. Matt Underwood alongside Rick Manning. The Indians won the first game on their last road trip, and the last game. In the middle, it was ugly. But what we saw yesterday was the Indians' 2-3 punch in the lineup of Shin-Soo Choo and Carlos Santana.
Well, Choo ran into a couple of fastballs and hit him a long way, giving him the lead in the first inning, and then adding on to it a 3-run homer that made separation in that game. For whatever reason, he killed Bronson Arroyo this year. And then Carlos Santana, not to be outdone, from the right side, he pulled one down the line. And when you look at their road trip, 19 RBIs between them, 7 home runs. They had a very good road trip.
And, of course, the Indians will get Travis Hafner back in the lineup tonight as the Indians return home to American League rules, and the DH will be able to be in the lineup. But they're going up against a Toronto Blue Jays team that can really dig in and hit the ball a long way.
Well, you don't want to try and go toe-to-toe with this ball club because they lead all of baseball in home runs. They've hit 3 home runs, I believe, about 20 times this year. They just get out there and they bang it and they hit it hard. Their batting average is down, and I think they live by the long ball, which also means you can die by the long ball. So if you pitch this team well, you can keep them in the ballpark, you're going to have a chance. But you can see the Jays, 115 home runs. Red Sox are trailing, so they have really outdistanced themselves by a lot.
All right, so that's the matchup. That's the challenge for Jake Westbrook tonight. He's on the hill for the Tribe, and we'll be back with all the play-by-play action coming up next. The Blue Jays lineup brought to you by Mercedes-Benz. Experience truly great engineering today at your authorized dealer. Fred Lewis leading it off. Then it's Alex Gonzalez and Jose Bautista. Vernon Wells, Adam Lynn, and Aaron Hill in the middle. Lyle Overbay, John Buck, and Jarrett Hoffpower batting ninth.
Tonight's starting pitcher brought to you by the Indians Team Shop, where you get 2 Tribe tickets when you spend $50. It'll be Jake Westbrook on the mound, making his 16th start this year. Jake is 4-4 and a .490 earned run average. Jake pitched one time this year against the Blue Jays. He walked a season-high 5 batters in a season-low 3 2/3 inning. That came back on May 4th. It was a no decision, though, and coming off a no decision again in his last start against the Phillies, wrapping up interleague play where he went 5 innings and he was pinch hit for in that ball game in the 6th inning. Now let's take a look at the Home Depot doing more on defense. Indians' defensive lineup. It's Kearns, Crow, and Chu in the outfield. It'll be Peralta, Hernandez, Nixon, Laporta on the infield. Behind the plate, Santana. More savings, more doing. That's the power of Home Depot.
Take a look at the umpires for today's ballgame. Chad Fairchild calling the balls and strikes. Eric Cooper at first, Bill Miller at second. Mike Riley, the crew chief, is down at third. So Jake Westbrook climbing onto the hill to battle the Blue Jays. Toronto had a rough go in interleague play, going just 7-11, and they find themselves 7.5 games off the pace as we begin tonight's ball game.
They had some pretty tough foes, though, in interleague play when you look at it. They had Colorado, San Diego, San Francisco, St. Louis, and Philadelphia.
And they faced pretty much their best pitchers in all those games.
It certainly seemed like it, didn't it?
They got Jimenez in Colorado. They got Halladay with the Phillies. So they've definitely seen some top pitchers.
Carpenter in St. Louis. Yes,
Wainwright in St. Louis.
I know.
2-strike pitch.
Yeah, they're probably happy to be back.
Missed off the plate.
Westbrook, as I mentioned, in his career, he is 2-2 against the Blue Jays. He hasn't beat them in quite some time. Got to go back before 2007.
Popped up foul. Peralta running out of real estate. Can't get to it.
Guy slapped it back on the field. Watch this. He's going to go after it. The guy's striped shirt. It's volleyball. It's in.
Was he trying to catch that, or was that strictly
a
set shot?
Like he was set up for the spike.
2-2 the count. Two, just missed. And the count goes full. Westbrook working on the extreme first base side of the rubber. Lets the payoff pitch go, and it's right back to the hill. 1 out here in the first.
So far this year, Westbrook making 6 home starts, a record of 1-2, and an ERA of 5.11. The Indians have played the fewest home games in all of baseball. They will have the 4-game series here with Toronto, and then a weekend series before that's against Oakland, before they head out on the road and then go into All-Star break.
Alex Gonzalez with 14 home runs on the year. The 0-1 pitch. Hammered fair down the left field line. Into the corner it goes. And Gonzalez will cruise into second base with his 21st double of the year.
That's another thing Toronto does very well. They hit double, second in the league. That's their 161st. A slider by Westbrook. Stayed up, stayed middle of the plate, and it was hammered down the line. Down into the corner for Gonzalez, his 21st double. So now Toronto with an opportunity, runner in scoring position, and 1 out.
Jose Bautista.
And he looks at a first pitch strike from Jake Westbrook. Batista tied with Miguel Cabrera and Paul Konerko for the league lead in home runs.
But a name you would not think of, or at least when this year started, that would even be on the leaderboard, would you?
No, he would not have been a guy that you would have thought would be up with those names. But this Blue Jays team, collectively, has hit home runs at an incredible rate so far this year. Should they keep this up, you're talking about a historic season, considering, Rick, that the highest percentage of hits that are home runs all time is the Texas Rangers. 17% of their hits were home runs in 05.
Right.
The Blue Jays are right at about 19%.
Wow. Well, they're living by the long ball, and a lot of times you die by the long ball when you go like that. You know, but they don't steal a lot of bases. They're last in the league. Runs scored, they're sixth, but it is nice when you hit them.
Batista doesn't like the call of Chad Fairchild. But it's now 2-2.
Well, that's a pretty good breaking ball on the outside corner.
Now Westbrook ready with a 2-2. And Batista fouls it straight back.
This is the team that if you make your pitches, you keep it in the yard, they will strike out a lot. 13th in the league. Or second most, let's put it that way.
Yeah, they don't hit well with runners in scoring position, which is interesting, although that ball is wrapped to the right center field alley, and this will bring home the first run of the ball game. Jose Batista with his 16th double of the year, his 50th run batted in. And Toronto on top, 1-0. Before that hit, the Blue Jays on the year were batting just .217 as a team with a runner in scoring position on the road this year.
Well, Jake's in the middle of the plate right now, and the hitters are taking advantage of it. You can see where that catcher's got to come back and bring that hand over the plate. The hitters usually do some damage to it, so it's back-to-back doubles. One was a breaking ball. That was a sinker out over the plate.
Even though the Blue Jays swept the Indians earlier this year, they were only 6 for 33 with runners in scoring position in that series.
Yeah, but they out-homered them 5-1.
Well, that's what makes up for it. As Vernon Wells moves Batista to third with a base hit to left, and now 3 straight hits allowed by Westbrook here in the first with 1 out. Adam Lynn coming to the plate.
Let's take another look. It's going to be a breaking ball. Oh, boy. And you can see that's why they're hitting the ball. I mean, you can just look at it and see middle of the plate hitters will get hits. In Westbrook's last start, he allowed a run in each of the first 2 innings. And then also 2 more in the 5th before he was pinch hit for.
Popped him up. Foul again. Peralta makes the grab. And the runner at third held, but the runner at first alertly tagging and going to second, Vernon Wells.
Didn't even think about him. I'll tell you, that's a heads-up play by Wells. They did not even think about him at first base. They just flipped it to third base instead of maybe catching that ball and running it in because the guy at third was going nowhere. And Wells went back and tagged up and just continued to run when they didn't pay attention to him. Very heads-up play. Well, you see, you don't get the runner, but I always watch him. The back's to the play, but you see, he just flips it. He didn't even look at first base, and that's exactly when Wells just continued to run. Look at Westbrook looking over there. That's giving him a base.
Aaron Hill, a swing and a miss. Got him to chase that slider, and it's 0-2. That time, a little more discipline from Aaron Hill. He was only hitting $192 coming in.
That is, I find hard to believe this year after the year he had last year. He was hurt earlier in the year.
Two balls, two strikes.
He hit .286 last year with 36 jacks and 108 ribbies at second base. Some kind of year.
And he does have 21 extra base hits, 11 homers, 10 doubles. Now the 2-2. Able to lay off, and the count is full. 3-2 the count with Lyle Overbay waiting next. Three-two hit in the air to center, but playable there for Trevor Crowe. And the inning is over. Jake Westbrook, a great job of minimizing the damage. Blue Jays get a run. Lead it 1-0 as the Indians come to bat. Crowe, Chu, and Santana, followed by Kearns, Hafner, and Peralta. Matt Laporta, Jason Nix, and Anderson Hernandez round out the starting lineup for Maniac's Ball Club. Ricky Romero, the left-hander, going for his 7th win of the year. And gets ahead with a first pitch strike to Trevor Crowe. What really jumps out at you when you look at Ricky Romero's statistics, the fact that he's given up far fewer hits than innings pitched.
Yeah. Yes,
and it seems like most starting pitchers, Rick, average about a hit per inning pitched. You know, that's roughly. But he's at 89 hits allowed in 104 1/3 innings of work.
Well, and 38 walks, only giving up 6 home runs. Really pitches well in the Rogers Center. 4-1 record and a 1.45 ERA. And then you take it out on the road for him, and he's 2-2 in 8 games started. The ERA goes up, and so does the batting average against. But he's got 3 quality pitches.
Crowe's trying to shoot it down the right field line, but it's into the seats.
Bad hands again.
I think it's the headsets he was wearing.
Look at the numbers for Ricky Romero, making his 16th start. 6-3, a great 2.85 ERA. 2 complete games, 104 innings, 101 strikeouts. So he's punching out almost 1 an inning. And you mentioned he's not giving up a hit per inning. So This guy, when he's on with that curveball, changeup, and he's got a good fastball, he can be awfully tough.
Gets
There's
his
the
first
change.
strikeout, 1 down.
Let's look at the Toronto defense behind Romero this afternoon or this evening. It's Lewis, Wells, and Bautista. Left to right, it'll be Hoffbauer, Gonzalez, Hill, and Overbay. Third to first. Behind the plate, John Buck, former Kansas City Royal. Toronto third in the league in defense. They have made 39 errors, have turned 78 double plays in their 76 games. They're always around the top of the league in defense.
Shin-Soo Choo turns away from a ball that's in sight. Choo with a dozen homers, 13 doubles, a couple of triples. Again, Romero pushes him off the plate.
Romero, a rookie last year, 25 years old. Made 29 starts, pitched 178 innings, and was 13-9.
John Buck going through the signs. Now the 2-1. Popped him up and back out of play. Take a look at our PNC Bank Achievement of the Game. Brought to you by PNC Bank, for the achiever in all of us. He did not go, says Mike Riley. A dozen homers for Choo this year. 4 of those home runs have come in his last 5 games. 8 of his 12 home runs have given the Indians a lead. And 4 times his home runs have been the first Indians run of a game. Choo drives this one deep to left. Back is Lewis. And on the front edge of the warning track, he's got it for out number 2. Take a look at our great clip of the game, brought to you by Great Clips. Carlos Santana clobbering his 4th home run of the year. Relax, you're at Great Clips.
All the runs yesterday coming via the long ball. 2 by Choo and the 4 ribbies, and also that solo shot there by Santana.
So many times you see a hanging breaking ball like that, and the hitter will pull that ball foul. And Santana hit that high and down the line and kept it fair.
Well, he threw that one screwball just one too many times. But Choo had the number of Bronson Arroyo, didn't he, this year? 2 times he's homered twice in a game off him this year.
Pretty sure that's what earned Choo the Most Outstanding Player Award honors for the Ohio Cup battle. Santana chops it foul. Problem with Ricky Romero is once you get behind him, it's really tough. I mean, just after an 0-1 count this year, batters are hitting 154 against him. That's when you spot him 1 strike, let alone 2.
Well, I watched this kid pitch a game earlier this year, and he had a no-hitter going deep into the ball game. That was his 2nd start of the year against the White Sox. It was a home run. I mean, he can be awfully tough. He had 12 punch-outs in that game. Everything was working.
Two down, bases empty. Tried down a run here in the 1st. And the 2-2 to Santana. And again, he fights it off. Austin Kearns would be next. Full count. So a good battle here between Santana and Romero. Now the payoff pitch. And again, he fights it off foul over into the camera bay.
And we mentioned this when in Pittsburgh, when he was down in the count 0-2, he ended up hitting the home run in that at-bat in the first inning. He was down in this count 0-2. Battles back to 3-2 and really making Romero work to get him out.
And the 3-2 is lined to left center field, a base hit. Fred Lewis cuts it off. No, he doesn't. He had a glove on it, but it scooted under his glove and rolled all the way to the fence. So Santana, who was going to go for 2 anyway, regardless of whether he actually stopped the ball or not, because by the time he ended up cutting it off, he was on the warning track. I think initially, Rick, he thought he was going to be able to cut it off on the grass, but that ball kept scooting.
Yeah, well, he hit it hard. He gets swinging room and gets that double. You see, Lewis couldn't cut it off. It's going to be a double anyway. So he continues to reach base, now 14 out of 15 games and in scoring position.
After a 9-pitch at bat, Santana's at second for Austin Kearns. Manny Acta was saying before the ball game that ideally he'd love to have Shin-Soo Choo batting third and move Carlos Santana down on the lineup. But that would be assuming you get, Asdrubal Cabrera back healthy, and then eventually you get Grady Sizemore back healthy. Those guys would be batting 1 and 2.
You have too many young guys in this lineup that cannot hit in the top spot.
But then if you have those 2 guys hitting 1-2, he said then Choo bats third where he thinks he's ideal. Then you've got Hafner cleanup and Santana right behind him, the switch hitter, batting 5th. And he said for him, that would really be a good lineup and give you some more length.
I'd like to see Sizemore lead off and hit Cabrera second, the switch hitter. Then you go with the left-hander third and then another switch hitter fourth, if you want to talk about the lineup.
Yeah.
That would be my just thinking about it and talking about it right now.
Buck had trouble grabbing that pitch. But, of course, we won't see Grady Sizemore back on the ball diamond until next spring training.
Exactly.
The Indians are very hopeful, however, that they will get Asdrubal Cabrera back perhaps as soon as after the All-Star break. Manny Acta is saying that Asdrubal is already throwing. He'll be taking some ground balls later this week, and then eventually the whole thing is get out on that rehab assignment. And he said he's going to need, maybe as many as 30, 40, 50 at-bats on the rehab assignment to where he feels good and ready to come back. Kearns punches it into right field. Around third, Santana coming home. Batista's throw to the plate. Here's the slide, save. A head-first dive for Santana. And we are even at 1. Boy, you hate to see a player like Santana go head-first into home plate. But he comes out unscathed in this instance.
You hate to see any player go head first, and this was a very nice play by Bautista and right. 2 outs, you're going to send him. That's a good piece of hitting right there. Kearns, that's our McDonald's. I'm loving it. A 2-out base hit, a great throw. Man, you got nothing but the chance to get hurt down there. He slides almost on the bat, but does get the hand in. Buck tries to apply the tag. Kearns will tie this game up, so back-to-back 2-out base hits, and it's back to even.
And Travis Hafner steps in with the Blue Jays shifting 3 men on the right side. The third baseman, Hoffpower, stays over near the bag at third with that runner at second base. And a ball down low. Manny Acta said under normal circumstances, this would be a night you'd give Travis Hafner a day off. You got a tough left-hander on the hill, but
can't give him a day.
He hasn't played in 9 games. He's had 5 at-bats in 9 games. So Manny said he just needs to see some pitches. He needs to get 4 or 5 at-bats tonight.
He's your DH. That's if he's playing every day. You give him a day off, but he's got to play. He was swinging the bat well before we went into interleague play, and we knew what was going to happen. He was going to, at the most, get 1 at-bat a game, and he didn't even get that. And the times he did pinch hit, he wasn't very successful.
The 1-1 pitch. And a curveball in there for a strike. Austin Kearns, who tied this game with a RBI single to right field, is the runner at second base. And Hafner down on the count, a ball and 2 strikes. Up the middle. Oh, nice stab by Romero. And the inning is over. But the Indians come back to tie the game. We're even at a run after 1. Beautiful day here in northeastern Ohio. And as evening falls, we're going to start getting back to some more cooler temperatures.
We are?
Yeah. It's supposed to be in the 70s the rest of the week.
I hope you're right. That road trip, we hit a few cities that were a little sweltering.
The 1-1 pitch. Caught the outside corner. Lyle Overbay, another struggling hitter. Of course, he was struggling when we saw them early, so he's actually improved upon his average from back then. I mean, there were whispers that he may be getting released earlier in the season.
Well, you're right. There were trade talks and even, the R word.
2-2. Popped in the air. Foul and out of play. Overbay, John Buck, and Jarrett Hoffpower here in the second for Toronto. Once again, another full count for Westbrook, and this will be his 30th pitch of the evening.
That's been 3 full counts now out of the first, 7 hitters.
Now the 3-2. And Weekly hit to third. Johnny Peralta fields it cleanly. And there's one out here in the second inning.
Tribe takes on the Athletics Saturday. It's a 7:05 start, and all fans will enjoy a great fireworks show following the ball game. The show will be set to patriotic music. celebrating the 4th of July weekend. Great seats still available. Call 216-420-HITS or visit Indians.com.
Blue Jays catcher John Buck having a tremendous season, batting .270, 13 homers, 13 doubles.
Well, the one thing about Jake, though, he is out 8 for 8 first pitch strikes.
John Buck is a career .235 hitter in the big leagues.
He's having a pretty solid year here for Toronto, though. You know, it seems like any time when he was with Kansas City, and he didn't play a lot when they had Miguel Olivo over there, you know, he'd get spot starts here and there, and he always do something very well against the Tribe. I remember he had a couple of home runs in one game in Kansas City, one of them being a grand slam.
Well, he's going to have a career year. I mean, his career high in home runs is 18. Career high in ribbies is 50. And as I said, he's only a .235 career hitter in the big leagues. So this is a fantastic season for Buck.
Well, you get him in another lineup that likes to hit the long ball, and they're going to go at him.
Chris Madden somehow avoiding that bouncing ball.
That's the old ugly finder. We haven't been home for 2 innings yet, and it already found him.
The 2-2 from Westbrook. Pop back out of play. Jared Hoffpower waiting on deck. The 2-2 from Westbrook. Another foul ball. Well, one thing the Blue Jays are doing by fouling off a lot of pitches here in the early going, they're making Westbrook throw a ton of pitches. He's closing in already on 40. There have been 8 foul balls hit thus far. Got inside on him. Austin Kearns, a long run, but it's going to be the shortstop Hernandez who pulled up on the ball, and it drops.
Well, that's an awful long run for a shortstop, and you've got the tarp over there. It's not an easy play when you see it drop.
No, it's not, but it looked like he maybe heard Kearns coming and just stopped.
Well, he's running for a long time, and you can see Kearns is not even running after it. And he lets it go, and, you know, that was just a tough play. If he was going to get after that ball, he would have had to jump up on top of that tarp and get over there. He was going as hard as he could.
Westbrook's 2-2 again is inside, full count.
Another one. He gets to the strike one, and then I don't know if he's nibbling or what, but now 4 full counts.
Well, it's all these foul balls. I mean, they keep fighting off the good pitches and just kind of waiting them out. Struck him up. 2 down. Got his first strikeout of the ball game. And that'll bring up Jared Hoffpower, Blue Jays third baseman. Westbrook missing inside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Jared Hoffpower was a 6th round pick of the St. Louis Cardinals back in 2004 out of Southern Miss. The Blue Jays claimed him off waivers last November. Now the 2-2. On April 25th, Jarrett Hoffpower hit for the cycle in the Pacific Coast League for the Blue Jays AAA club. 5 weeks later, on May 28th, he did it again. But he strikes out here, and the Blue Jays go 1-2-3. We go to the bottom of the second, tied at 1. The International Festival. Here's the Indians take on the Toronto Blue Jays. Bottom of the second inning. It'll be Johnny Peralta, Matt Laporta, and Jason Nix. Laporta laces it foul. We heard those drums pounding before the ballgame. It sounded like a marching band was getting ready to roll in.
Yes, it did.
It's a big drum. I don't think you'd probably want to march with that one.
I wonder if they're related to John Adams. Because I still see John up there in the bleachers.
Now maybe if they carried that drum all the way up to the top of the bleachers and let John work on that drum a little bit, maybe now we'd have something there.
Well, his is loud enough.
Peralta just did get the benefit of the doubt from home plate umpire Chad Fairchild. That was a breaking ball that almost caught the inside part of the plate. Nice leaping catch by Romero off the mound. One away. That's the look from the Blue Jays dugout. They're looking out right out with the sun setting now.
That's just getting the ball back from the third baseman. You know, he's got to walk over and grab it out of his glove. But that's how it is here in the summertime. So you can imagine that first baseman over there. Sometimes they'll have sunglasses on as that sun's setting.
And I don't even know how much good that could do at times. You get that heavy glare. Matt Laporta looks at the ball outside. 1-1 the count. Laporta got his first hit, which was a home run last year in Toronto against the Blue Jays. And he yanks that ball into left field. So Matt Laporta with a one-out single here in the second inning. And that'll bring up Jason Nix.
Picks on a breaking ball right here that Romero leaves up in the zone, and Laporta speeds up his bat and drilled it to left field. So both teams now with 3 hits in the ball game.
Nix, a bouncing ball wide to third. Hoffpower gave it a dive but couldn't come up with it. And back-to-back singles, and the Indians have something brewing here in inning number 2.
Nix gets a ball on the ground, it finds a hole. Hoffpower makes a diving attempt at it. It gets by him. So now with 1 out, first and second, give Hernandez a chance.
Anderson Hernandez steps out of the way of a ball down and in. Down too low, 2 balls, no strikes. And John Buck going to go for a chat.
Well, for a guy that doesn't give up a hit per inning, the Indians have done a nice job in the first 2 innings with 4 hits. I want to send along some birthday wishes. Bonnie Games of Austinburg is turning 66. Patty O'Brien of Columbus, the same, 66 years old. Happy birthday. Amy Frick turning 22. Happy birthday, Amy. And Glenn and Flo Parker of Denison, Ohio, celebrating their 62nd wedding anniversary. Our congratulations.
2-0 pitch, and Hernandez fouls it off his leg. Hernandez with 2 on and 1 out, and a 2-1 count. As Manny Acta looks on, will his club grab the lead here? And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. Hernandez and then Trevor Crowe here in the second for Cleveland. Indians got their run on a 2-out RBI single from Austin Kern, scoring Carlos Santana, who had doubled ahead of him. Ricky Romero with the 2-2. And the count goes full. And then all of a sudden he's over 40 pitches.
Yeah, he's not hitting with a lot of his pitches. He started out with the 2-0 count, having to battle his way back into it.
And the payoff pitch is fought back over the screen. Two on, 1 out. And a 3-2 count on Hernandez. Ball 4, it's in the dirt. And the bases are loaded with 1 out here in the second inning. Well, we got a few more days left in June, and when the Indians homer in the month of June, STO, Shell, and Conrad's Tire Express and Total Car Care are giving away free gasoline. Our first contestant up tonight is Nate Dyer from Marietta. Shell will provide $300 in free gas for each homer, $1,000 in free gas, and a set of tires from Conrad's for each Grand Slam.
We got to go out with a bang, don't we? Giving some tires away. We did it once or twice this month. I know that.
What do you say, Trevor? Weak ground ball hit to short. Could be 2. Dug out nicely by Overbay, and the inning is over. We're tied at 1 through 2 innings here in Cleveland. Greatness moment. International Festival here at Progressive Field as the Indians and the Blue Jays are tied at 1 third inning. Fred Lewis, Alex Gonzalez, and Jose Bautista for Toronto. Interesting note on Fred Lewis. When you talk about, putting the ball in play, and that's what we talk about, how the one bad thing about a strikeout is you don't give yourself a chance. But on balls that he puts in play, and then if you exclude home runs and exclude strikeouts, with a minimum of 250 plate appearances, which isn't that many, but still, his average on balls in play, 386. That's second all time for the Blue Jays.
Well, in other words, put it in play. He only has 4 home runs. He's not a power guy. That's
right.
Why he's leading off. He came over, he was a San Francisco Giant.
Bounce to short, Hernandez. He does get down the line in a hurry. 1 away. Time now for the AT&T trivia question. AT&T Rethink Possible. The only player in Blue Jays history with 100 homers and 100 steals. Wow. 100 homers and 100 steals. Figures 100 steals is a lot nowadays when you think that's 5 years of 20 bags, and all of a sudden 20 is a lot anymore. Devon White hit that many home runs? I'm thinking Devo. What about Jesse Barfield?
Jesse wasn't a base stealer. He was, a big prolific home run hitter.
Swung on and missed. Popped out of the glove. 1-2 the count. We'll think on it. We'll have the answer coming up later on in the ball game. Alex Gonzalez doubled and scored his first time up. This time he goes down swinging. Westbrook has fanned 3 now on the night.
Well, he made a mistake with a breaking ball the first time. This time he gives him a changeup, and that one was good. Out of the zone, and you can see what happens. You have 2 strikes. You get hitters to chase it. Keep it away from the middle of the plate, you get your outs. So Jake made the adjustment. Good pitch.
Ripped foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. Now the 1-1. Back out of play. Two balls, 2 strikes. And now he's run it full. Bench coach Tim Tolman flanking Manny Acta. And the payoff pitch. Did he go? They'll appeal. He did. First base ump Eric Cooper punches him out. Westbrook with 4 strikeouts. Sets him down in order, and Jake has retired 8 straight Blue Jays. Member of our crew here at Progressive Field.
What's it, Menor baseball night here for kids out at the ballpark?
Shin-Soo Choo takes a strike. Fly to left his first time up. You mean it's not just Igor Klobas night?
Well, it could be, yes. Very well could be. I think they're all here part of baseball night for the kids.
The 0-1 to Choo. Tried to hold up,
yes,
but he went
did.
too far.
Oh!
what a break he caught there. At least it seemed like it.
You know, now you can see out in right field, Bautista's probably saying, well, hey, they called it on me. Well, it's a different umpire.
Ricky Romero with a 1-1. And she rifles it foul out of play. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Able to lay off 2-2.
He hasn't been able to hit inside on the left-handers. You know, he is going in there to keep them honest, but he just hasn't been able to hit with that pitch, and you know, so they can basically sit away. He comes back in.
Chu punches it just beyond the reach of Gonzalez for a base hit here in the 3rd, and the Indians get their leadoff man on base for the first time.
Well, that's a nice job pulling the hands in and getting a base hit. That pitch right there, tough pitch. If you can handle that pitch from a left-hander, the fastball in as Chu does, and he didn't get a lot of it, but enough to get a base hit, that keeps you honest. I mean, that'll keep that pitcher from maybe going in there again and may get you something out over the plate that you can extend on. That's a good job of hitting.
And now Carlos Santana, who doubled into the left center field gap his first time up. And remember, he was down 0-2 in that at bat.
Well, it hasn't seemed to phase this kid. Doesn't matter. I mean, when he's been down in the count, we've seen him hit a home run and now a double.
Santana rips it up the gut, but it's backhanded by Hill. They get 1 and easily turn 2. Well, he hit it hard, but Hill was right there to make the play on him.
Yeah, and Romero, he's a guy that, you know, he had 30 double plays turned last year in his rookie season. He's capable of getting that ground ball. That one got a little inside on him. It wasn't hit as sharply as we thought originally.
Yeah.
You know, it got inside down on the handle, so he had time to turn that double play. It was a pretty good pitch. So the second double play turned by Toronto this evening.
Austin Kearns drove in a run his first time up.
Kearns did a good job in his first at bat to get the 2-out base hit down and away, staying on it, going the other way, driving in the Indians' only run.
Big bouncer to 3rd. Hoffpower throws him out. We've played 3 innings here at Progressive Field, and we are tied at 1. got their run in the first inning. Back-to-back doubles by Gonzalez and Bautista. Indians got their run on a 2-out RBI single by Austin Kearns that drove in Carlos Santana. Vernon Wells had a base hit his first time up.
He's having a solid year. Wells leads the majors with 43 extra base hits this year. 23 doubles. 19 homers. He and Bautista, the two teammates, have more homers than any two teammates do.
And it's suddenly 3-0.
This is a guy, remember Matt last year when we were in Toronto, they were booing him, and I mean, they were all over him at one point in time, and he really had a tough year, but came back this year and started off right and has been very good.
I think that kind of goes with the territory. When you become sort of the face of the franchise, which he really was,
right,
and then you have that year like the Blue Jays had, you become the whipping boy.
Well, you're absolutely right, because he had the big money. He was making the big money. Whoa.
Kearns way offline with the throw, backed up smartly by Laporta. And Vernon Wells is 2 for 2 with a single and now a double.
Add another double to that category, 24 now, and he got a little sinker, I believe, inside. Let's see. Yes, it was, and he turns on it. He keeps it fair. So they get their leadoff man aboard in scoring position. That throw just a little offline.
Ball one to Adam Lynn, who fouled out his first time up.
Well, he had an opportunity in his first. There you see the leaders in the American League and doubled Butler, who had 50 last year, over 50. Hunter, Dustin Pedroia out with a broken foot. Lind had an opportunity first and third, his first at bat, and swung at that first pitch and fouled out in foul territory.
Westbrook looks him back now, throws to second. They got him. Oh, what a perfect throw by Jake. And Anderson Hernandez right there to make the tag. And that's what you have when you've got a pitcher who can really field his position like Westbrook.
Athletic play. And I'll tell you, not many guys could have made it, because he turns on it and makes a perfect throw. Great pitch, changeup. And he's aware that Vernon Wells was caught in the middle. So, you know, when you're back there, I better get back. I can't do it. Great play. Get that lead runner. Nice job.
I'm going to bring up Aaron Hill, who flied to center his first time up.
As a base runner, you realize, too, that you've gone too far. Once he catches that ball, you know, your first instinct is to shuffle, and get off. And then the pitcher makes the play. But not many pitchers will hold on to it and make a good throw. Wrong time to do it.
In that instance, and again, this is looking back on it, in that instance, he probably would have been better off just trying to go to third.
Getting to a rundown?
He would have made Jake have to spin all the way back around to throw to third. Would have been maybe a little tougher throw for him. But again, that's, you know.
Jake probably would have ran right at him and tried to run him back to second.
Probably.
You know, knowing Jake, you see, there it is. He would have ran right at him if he decided.
He would have had no chance to get to third either.
And Jake, I mean, he'll track you down. He can run like a deer.
Bouncing ball in the hole. Peralta cuts it off. Goes to second from a knee. They get one there, not in time on the turn. But tip of the cap for the effort there. Jason Nix hung right in there as Peralta fired from a knee to get the force at second.
Well, another good play. Peralta gets this ball into the hole, and you're really just looking for one. But tell you what, Nix got that ball, and it was a nice throw where he was able to come across the bag and not worry about the runner, and he got it off in time, so a good play.
Lyle Overbay grounded out his first time up. He hammers this one to right at Chu, and the inning is over. So the leadoff double does no damage. And we go to the bottom of the fourth, tied at 1. there, doesn't it?
It does. Actually, Kelly Meyer's brother.
Is that right?
Of STO. Yes, it is.
Good stuff. Kelly is what you would call an invaluable asset in Sports Time Ohio.
And any idea what his name is?
Mr. Myers to you, pal. Travis Hafner, Johnny Peralta, and Matt Laporta here in the fourth for the Indians.
I think they said his name was Rerun.
Jimmy Myers. Ricky Romero with the two-strike pitch, and he rings him up. Only the second strikeout for Romero. All season long, when the Indians homer, we raise money for the Gathering Place, which helps individuals and families who have been touched by cancer. Great Clips donating $50 per homer. Rick and I are each donating $5 per dinger. And closing in on $3,500 raised so far this year. You can log on to touchedbycancer.org to learn more about the Gathering Place or to make a donation yourself.
Boy, Smitty quick tonight over there at third base, huh? Fielded the ground ball and flipped it to the seats.
Practicing what he preaches.
Yes, he is.
Now the 0-1. One ball and two strikes. Way outside, missing badly that time. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Romero over 60 pitches on the evening. Peralta sends a sky-high drive, deep left center field. Lewis is back, gives way to Wells, who pulls it down for out number 2. Take a look at our Subway fresh face of the game. And Jason Kipnis, yesterday against Binghamton, 3 for 5 with the runs scored since getting promoted from Kinston, batting .327 with 3 homers and 7 runs batted in for the Arrows. Subway, play hard, eat fresh. Matt Laporta singled his first time up, looks at a ball up high. And it's 2 balls and no strikes. Tried to get Laporta to go chase after it. He wouldn't do it. And he's in a good count here, 3-1. That's a free pass. Second walk issued by Romero. And a 2-out walk will bring Jason Nix to the plate. Let's go back to the studios right now for this in-game update. Here's Al Pawlowski.
Hey, Matt. Hey, Rick. Washington and Atlanta tonight. Steven Strasburg making his 5th Major League start tonight. So far, 1 strikeout, giving up 3 hits. Shutout baseball. The problem is Tim Hudson throwing shutout baseball as well for the Braves. Scoreless. Back to you.
All right, here is Jason Nix, a base hit his first time up. Chops this one toward third. Stays fair. Hoff power. Can't get him. He did everything he could, and he made a heck of an effort. But Nix just perfectly placed with that little roller up the third base line, and the Indians have 2 on with 2 out.
Well, that's exactly right. You talk about perfectly placed. I believe that's the 44th infield hit for the Indians this year. And you can see you're playing deep with 2 outs. You don't think anybody's going to bunt. You've got the guy on first base, so you're playing back. And that is just great placement. Infield hit, first and second now, and 2 outs.
Anderson Hernandez. He had a walk his first time up. Two balls, no strikes. Buck with a good stop there. And the 2-0 is ripped foul. Almost took Sandy Alomar with it.
He's quick enough. Look at him. You know you take abuse when something like that happens. Oh, no problem.
2 on, 2 out, 2-1 count. Routine bouncer to short, inning over. 4 complete, tied at 1. Mocha blended with a hint of coffee and ice. McDonald's, I'm loving it. By KeyBank. Stop in and start a conversation and unlock your possibilities. And by Panini's. Visit PaninisGrill.com for a list of new locations. Tied at 1, 5th inning. Through 4 innings of play, each pitcher has thrown 72 pitches. John Buck, Jared Hoffpower, and Fred Lewis for the Blue Jays here in the 5th.
The Indians have 2 more hits, but they have hit into 2 double plays.
Yeah. Buck bounces it to third, but it's foul.
Send out another happy 62nd wedding anniversary to Rosalie and Pete Vinay of Massillon, Ohio.
And we also have to send out very special.
Yes, very special.
90th birthday wishes to Mary Eloise Evans, who is celebrating her 90th birthday today.
Happy birthday, Mary, from?
We understand she is one of the most faithful Cleveland Indians followers around. And a note came to us from Ruth Selmeyer and her good friend Mark.
Mark being you. Mark, can you please wish me a happy birthday? Thank you, Mark.
Buck blasting off the left, but Kearns will get back there to make the catch. 1 down.
Well, tomorrow night, if you come out to the ballpark, you can save big with the Budweiser 2 for Tuesday as this series continues. Get 2 tickets in the bleachers and $20 in ticket plus food credit for only $32. Call 216-420-HITS or visit Indians.com for your tickets. Tell the people in Ashland, Mark, they'll love it.
Bouncing ball to third. Johnny Peralta, quick hands, grabs it, throws him out. And 2 down here in the 5th. Jake Westbrook rolling along. Fred Lewis 0 for 2.
You can tell this is, this is a former National League leadoff hitter where, they've had a short, quick inning. So he's going to take one all the way, at least take a strike, fake the bunt, and try and make Westbrook work a little bit more. Jake could use a nice inning. See, he's going to take a strike all the way. Never want to let that pitcher have like a 3, 4, 5 pitch inning if you can do anything about it.
And the 2-0. Caught the outside part of the plate.
That's all right. That was a good pitch. You don't want to swing at that one anyway.
$80 pitches now on the night for Jake Westbrook with 2 downs. With 2 down here in the 5th inning. And the count evens up at 2-2. A little bit low, full count. Now the payoff pitch, and he walked him. So a very good at bat for Fred Lewis.
You know what? It really was, because it stopped Westbrook from having a quick inning.
And Alex Gonzalez, who has doubled and scored the only run for Toronto back in the 1st inning, struck out his last time up. When the Blue Jays first came on the scene back in 1977, you guys pretty much had your way with them.
Well, I remember it well. They were expansion team.
I think it was when you left. There's something to be
correlation
said there.
Yeah. Right? Yeah. I know where you're going.
You left, and suddenly the Indians couldn't beat Toronto anymore. When you were part of the Tribe, Indians were 46-27 all time against Toronto.
Okay.
You left, and for the next 10 years, Toronto dominated the series, going 95-48.
And plus, they stopped drawing from Niagara Falls when they'd go there. When the Indians would go to Toronto in Exhibition Stadium.
Now, when Progressive Field opened up, then Jacobs Field in 1994, Indians
Took
flipped
it
the
back
tables
over.
on them.
Yes, they did.
83-56 through last year.
Well, in the last, couple of years, it's the Jays that have switched it back again, haven't they?
Well, they're 3-0 to start this year.
Then they've won 6 of their last 7 here in Cleveland.
Westbrook's 2-strike pitch. Into the glove of Peralta, and the inning is over. We go to the bottom of the 5th now at Progressive Field. Still knotted up at 1 apiece. Night here in downtown Cleveland. Trevor Crow looks at a fastball for a strike. Crow 0 for 2. Struck out on the first, grounded into a double play that ended the second inning in what was a very promising rally for the Tribe. At the time, Romero goes down in a heap. The ball caroms right to the first baseman, Overbay. And Romero quickly got to his feet, but Cito Gaston's still going to come out and make sure he's all right. And Romero waved him off.
I'll tell you what, this kid looks like he's a pretty good athlete on the mound. He's made a couple of nice plays tonight. This one was self-defense. He had no chance at catching this ball. He just deflected it. And it happened to go right over to Overbay. I think it got gloved. At least I hope it did. Because he bounced up in a hurry, and Crow taken from a base hit. Let's see, one hopper, right back. Does he get the... It's off his hand, really. It didn't even get gloved.
Looked like it hit him on his pitching hand, didn't it?
Well, that glove hand maybe right there as he was... It could have deflected off his pitching hand.
Shin-Soo Choo singled his last time up. Rolls it over to second base. Hill throws him out 2 down. This game recap brought to you by your Northern Ohio Toyota dealers. For a dealer near you, visit buyatoyota.com. Batista's RBI double with the Blue Jays on top. Indians came right back, bottom of the first. Austin Kearns with a 2-out RBI single, scoring Carlos Santana. That's where we stand. But it was Santana who got that inning going in the first with a 2-out double to left center field. 78 pitches now for Romero, with 2 down here in the 5th inning. One ball and 2 strikes. Too high with the heat, full count. Romero trying to set the Indians down in order for the first time tonight. And the payoff pitch. He won't do it. He walked him. And the Indians will have a 2-out base runner now for Austin Kearns as we send it back to the studios for this in-game update.
Hey, man, runs coming quickly in Minnesota. The Detroit Tigers there, they get 4 runs without getting an out. Brendan Bosch here knocks in 2 with this double to make it 4-0. Then Minnesota added 1 in the bottom of the first. And the Twins still batting in the bottom of the first. So 4-1 Tigers in Minnesota. Back to you.
Back into divisional play.
Yes, indeed. Be curious to see how the White Sox respond after they had their 11-game win streak snapped. Interleague play is over, and they made the most of it, going 15-3.
Yes, they took advantage of it. A couple of teams took advantage of it.
Grounded to third. Hoffpauir goes to second for the inning-ending force. 5 in the books. We're tied at 1. Dry roasted peanuts, only $2.78 at any Northeast Ohio Mark's location.
So head into your nearest Mark, where you'll find a huge selection and low prices every day.
Tied at 1, 6th inning here at Progressive Field. Each team got their run in the first. The pitchers have dominated, but they're not going to get really that deep into the game because they're both running out of bullets.
Well, that was like that game in Philadelphia. They got 2 in the first. Indians got 1 in the second, and that's how the game ended when it was Jamie Moyer against Mitch Talbot. And by the way, yesterday it was Vernon Wells who hit the home run off Moyer. That set the record. 506, I believe.
Oh, the most home runs ever allowed?
Yeah, most home runs ever
that's
allowed.
Right. He was tied. I think it's 502. 502 or 503.
I thought it was 506, but, well, Tommy will know.
506. Nice talking to you. 5-star league leaders brought to you by the GMC Sierra. Never send the truck to do a Sierra's job.
Come on, Ray Ron.
Oh, a little squibber out toward the mound. Westbrook going to throw him out. Toronto started this game with 3 hits in the first 4 at-bats. Since then, they're 1 for 16.
Well, when we showed you the location of that first inning, Jake Westbrook was middle of the plate with everything that he was throwing, and they took advantage of him early. But he has settled in, and he has gotten out of the middle, and he's been on the edges.
Vernon Wells, chopper foul. He has singled and doubled. The 0-1. Call a strike. Two-strike delivery. A little bit low with it. Got him to chase. Looked like it was off the edge. And Wells a quick tapper back to the mound, 2 down.
Well, we would like you to fill a house for the Center for Families and Children. That'll be Wednesday as this series will continue. It's a 7:05 start. For every ticket sold, $1 will be donated to the charity. Taking place Wednesday.
Adam Lynn, he was trying to put the Blue Jays on top with one swing of the bat. Former third-round pick back in 2004 out of the University of South Alabama. And he's got a base hit. Just the 5th hit for Toronto. And a 2-out base runner now for Aaron Hill.
That was a changeup. He was able to keep his hands back enough. And I think that pitch was just up enough for him to reach it.
Down low, ball 1. Hill has had a tough time laying off the Westbrook slider tonight. He's really had a penchant to go chasing after that pitch.
Well, then there's a good chance he's going to see it again.
One and one to count. Down low, 2 balls and a strike. In the air, shooting for that right center field gap. Coming hard is Chu, and he's there to make the catch. And the inning is over. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Jake Westbrook wheeling and dealing tonight. We are tied at 1. Johnny Peralta and Matt Laporta will take their cuts.
Chewbacca.
The force is with him. That's outstanding.
Chewbacca. Now that, we've never thought of that.
Hafner hit by the pitch. And the Indians get their leadoff man aboard for just the second time tonight.
He'll take that little breaking ball on the arm. He wears the pad. And he is now tied with Quinton and Pierre of the White Sox for 10.
I would expect Quinton, not Pierre, necessarily to be on that list right there.
That's, yeah. Well, he's a little left-hander that's up on the dish, too. But you're right. Quinton, I can see.
Yeah, he hangs right over the plate.
Yes, well, he used to. He's backed off it a little bit because he's been hit so many times.
Johnny Peralta 0 for 2 tonight.
But when those guys wear that protection on that front, there's no reason not to get up there and stay on the plate. Indians for the last few years have had guys that would dive out. Garco would be here. He'd be hit 17, 18, 19 times a year.
Kelly Shopik would be right out.
Yeah, they wouldn't budge, man. You sit out there. But for Shopik, he never wore the guards. He never wore the armor. Remember, he took 2 in a row or 3 in a row a couple of years ago, right on that same spot from the Boston pitching staff.
The 1-1. Foul tipped into the mitt of John Buck in the count 1-2. The left-hander deals, and it's in the dirt. Ricky Romero still remembers when he was 4 years old, and his dad took his pencil from his right hand and put it in his left hand and said, I want you to do everything left-handed from now on.
Well, that's the time to do it. I mean, you just teach your brain how to do it from that side.
Johnny spanks this ball deep to left. It's over the head of Lewis. Into third base comes Hafner, and he'll get the stop sign there. Johnny Peralta with his 21st double of the year, and the Indians are in business now with runners at second and third and nobody out in the 6th inning.
That ball was smoked. Johnny hit a line drive. I mean, and he hit it hard. Lewis had no chance. A low changeup. It looks like, because it was down there. 82 miles per hour goes over the head of Lewis, and Hafner cruises into third. So a great opportunity here for the Indians in the bottom half of the 6th.
The Blue Jays will bring the infield in. Matt Laporta has singled and walked tonight. Weak ground ball to second. That will not get it done. They'll throw him out one away.
Not good. That's youth right there.
Browns fans, the time is right to become a Browns season ticket holder. Great seating choices, affordable pricing, and flexible payment options. Full season ticket packages start at just $320. And right now, each Browns full season ticket purchase comes with 2 free tickets to Cedar Point. Call 440-824-3434 or visit clevelandbrowns.com for more information. Jason Nix has seen 2 pitches tonight and has 2 hits. And he takes a strike here. Again, the Blue Jays have the infield drawn in.
It's rare that they bring it in with nobody out. I can see with 1 out. But Cito figured, okay, I'm going to take my chances. There it is.
Squeeze plays on. Hafner to the plate. He is safe. Jason Nix executing to perfection. Romero tried to flip it right from his glove to John Buck, but to no avail. And the
Love
Indians
that play.
lead it 2-1. And Jason Nix is 3 for 3.
I'll tell you what, I love that play right here. That may be a fielder's choice. As he flips it, he went out of his way to try and get him at home. He had no chance. It's a well-executed suicide squeeze. You don't have to put it to one side or the other. Nix, a beautiful job. I love the call from Manny Acta after the first pitch was out. Great, nicely executed. They get the lead run across. Very nice. Very nice.
They did give a fielder's choice, yeah. And it was the right call. And the Indians have runners at first and third with only one out. And
Love
Nix
that
gets
call.
his first RBI as an Indian.
Boy, it takes the pressure off. And, I mean, you know, once you get used to it, when you get down to that lineup with one out, be ready for it. That is the key. And when it works, it is a beautiful thing.
Hernandez pops the pitch up. Shallow right. Batista will make the catch.
Again, his youth. The guys want to jump after that first pitch all the time, thinking it's going to be a one down the middle.
Well, the other thing, too, when you look back at that squeeze play is to do it with, Hafner at third, you've got to execute. I mean, pretty much, even if you've got a really fast runner at third base, you still have to execute.
But the key of it is not giving it away. Watch, you usually, with a left-hander, it's easy because he's blindsided. He doesn't see the guy break. As long as the guys can't yell, he's going, or squeeze, 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 you don't take off before that. Usually the front foot of the pitcher is starting to land or on its way down, so he can't change his delivery. And, you don't give it away, which Hafner did not. And as a hitter, you just have to put the ball on the ground in fair territory. That's the third time they've been able to do it this year. We haven't seen a squeeze play here in Eric Wedge's regime. They say he did it in 93, in 03, I think his first year, but I don't remember it.
Crow with a big swing and a miss. Trevor 0 for 3. Had a hit taken away from him last time up. Hit the ball hard right back up the middle. It caromed off the glove or off the wrist of Romero right to the first baseman over base. Two on, two out, 2-strike pitch. Bounced it in there.
Well, that's something you better be aware of. Ricky Romero, 15 wild pitches on the year, and I'm sure a lot of it has to come from that pitch right there, that breaking ball down in the dirt when he throws it. But as John Buck knows, if I'm going to call for it, I am expecting that ball in the dirt, especially with a man on third base.
13 of his 15 wild pitches came in his first 8 starts. He's only had 2 in his last 7. Crow trying to shoot it the other way, foul.
Oh, the concession man almost got him one. He was, whatever he's selling, that box got in his way. Boy, that's a nice try. He should have opened the box and let it go in. Watch him go. Oh, off the hands. Did it hit that lady behind him?
No.
Oh, he better give her a free dog or something.
Here's the 1-2 pitch. And a pop-up on the infield. Hill will make the catch. But the Indians squeeze home the tie or the go-ahead run, and it's 2-1 Cleveland through 6 innings of play. Seventh inning here at Progressive Field. Lyle Overbay leading off for Toronto. Through 6 innings, both Jake Westbrook and Ricky Romero have thrown 100 pitches.
That is, well,
Westbrook had thrown 63 strikes, Romero 64 strikes.
it's amazing.
But now Jake has a 1-run lead in activity in the Indians' bullpen. Overbay shoots it out of play. 2-1. Lyle Overbay, who began his career with the Diamondbacks, then on to the Brewers. All of a sudden, he's in his 5th year with the Blue Jays. And a line drive to center field, a base hit. And Toronto gets their leadoff man aboard here in the 7th inning. All right, time now for the answer to our AT&T trivia question. AT&T Rethink Possible. 100 homers, 100 stolen bases. I thought maybe Jesse Barfield. You said no, he's not a base stealer. You said Lloyd Mosby.
He was a good. I mean, Barfield and Bell and Mosby played in that outfield.
Bell is another good one. I forgot about.
Yeah, George Bell. Yeah.
Now, right now, it looks like Manny Acta is going to make a move to the bullpen. Right-hander Joe Smith coming on in relief of Jake Westbrook, who went 6 innings tonight. Allowed 1 run on 5 hits. And he's on top 2-1. Joe Smith enters when we come back. Leadoff man aboard, and Joe Smith coming on in relief. Back-to-back right-handed hitters, John Buck and Jarrett Hoffpower are due up. So it will be up to Joe Smith.
Well, and you know, you're wondering why he sent Jake out there after he gives up the hit. He takes him out. Obviously, he didn't want Smith to start the inning with Overbay out, but now you're bringing him in to face the right-handers. And Smith in his last outing really struggled in Cincinnati, where he gave up 5 straight hits coming in.
Buck wildly swings and misses. And he's quickly ahead 0-2. Shoots it out of play. And it remains no balls and 2 strikes. Again, he fights it off. Again, the 2-strike pitch. And again, Buck fights it off. You know, he did a lot of this thinking back when he was with Kansas City. Get into it bat and just foul pitches off, stay alive.
Well, you've got a chance to maybe expand it and
what happens is you make a mistake though, and he turns it around in a hurry.
There you go.
Foul tips it into the glove of Santana for the strikeout. 1 down. Good pitch by Smith.
Well, he worked hard at getting ahead of him 0-2, so you don't want to go and pound that strike zone. You can expand that strike zone and see if you can get him to chase a pitch, and Joe Smith does that. Gets him to chase that slider off the dish for the first out.
Now Jarrett Hoffpower 0 for 2. One ball, 1 strike. I mentioned earlier that on April 25th of this year, Hoffpower hit for the cycle when he was playing for Las Vegas, the AAA affiliate of the Blue Jays. And then just over a month later, on May 28th, he did it again. And a soft liner to short. Hernandez grabs it, 2 down.
Running off the field again. Well, take a break from the work week and head down to the ballpark for lunch in 3 innings. That'll be Thursday. You can get a ticket for the Tribe Blue Jays game. It's a 12:05 start, plus $10 in ticket, plus food credit, all just for $15.
We're going to get another pitching change as Manny Acta will go back to the bullpen. Joe Smith did his job, got the 2 right-handers out. And now Manny Acta will go to the lefty. And hitting Fred Lewis, the scheduled hitter for Rafael Perez, who's now on for the Tribe. Good outing for Joe Smith. Got a strikeout and a soft line drive out.
Well, and when you match up and it works, it looks good. Perez on to try and get out of this inning and keep that one-run lead. The tying run is on first base.
All right, so Fred Lewis stepping in. And it's up high for ball one. Two balls, no strikes. And Rafael Perez gets a called strike to make the count 2-1. Fred Lewis, Mississippi product, is a cousin of former Indians outfielder Matt Lawton. Got him to reach for it. And a weak bouncer to second. Nix throws him out. And a good job by the Indians bullpen. Stretch time in Cleveland, 2-1 Tribe. Over stuffed sandwich at any one of their locations this summer. From Westlake to Willoughby, Panini's is your patio headquarters. Log on to paninisgrill.com for a list of all their locations. Shin-Soo Choo leading off the bottom of the seventh inning. Chu pops it, shallow left, dropping in a hurry, racing out over the shoulder, basket catch by Gonzalez.
Boy, that was a very nice play.
That was terrific.
I mean, yeah, he got a great jump on that ball. He ran just a beautiful angle to get it, and he knew right where it was. Great catch. I mean, it was fisted by Chu, and look at that. Look at him put his back to the infield, gets out there and had enough room on his side. Great play. Really nice play. Here you go. Throw it in for me.
Now the question, did he replace his divot?
Yes, he did.
Now Carlos Santana. A little bit low. Double barrel action in that Blue Jay bullpen. Santana with a high drive deep to left. Lewis back on the track, pulls it down right in the middle. 2 away. And we go back once again to the studios for this in-game update with Al Pawlowski.
Hey, Matt, the White Sox with their 11-game winning streak on the line tonight. The Royals, the opponent at Kauffman Stadium. So far, advantage KC. Base hit here by Billy Butler. Makes it 3-0 Kansas City. They're in the 4th inning now at Kauffman Stadium. Back to you.
Austin Kearns, 1 out of 3. Drove in the Indians' first run back in inning number 1 with a 2-out RBI single to right field. Fouled that one off his leg. The 1-1 delivery. Back to the mound. Romero. The flip. And the inning is over. We go to the 8th here at Progressive Field. It's Cleveland 2 and Toronto 1.
Retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians.
Well, we go now to the 8th inning here at Progressive Field. It may look like we're in Fiji, but Chris Perez fires a fastball in for a strike to Alex Gonzalez. 31st appearance for Chris Perez. One ball, one strike. And Alex Gonzalez doubled and scored the only run for Toronto back in inning number 1.
Well, Toronto's had a tough time since that first inning. No runner has advanced once he has reached base.
Matt Laporta ran out of real estate. Ball and 2 strikes to count.
You look at Wells back in the 4th, his leadoff double. You're going to see that ball just hitting the top of the dugout.
Swung on and missed. Boy, he got him to chase that slider. 1 down here in the 8th.
Well, Chris Perez has a good slider. I mean to tell you, when he's throwing that 95-mile-an-hour fastball and he can keep it out of the middle of the plate, he's got a good one. And he swung at a pitch out of the zone. And the hitters have a tendency, when you do that, you get yourselves out. He didn't give it to him. It's a ball. Tried to call timeout late and not given to him by Chad Fairchild, which is a good call.
What is he doing?
Well, he's in there. He's trying to upset the timing, I would think, of Perez. He knows he's not going to swing, so he's just, I don't know, trying to affect the concentration.
Yanks it in the left field.
I guess he knows what he's doing.
There was a method to his madness.
He sat up there and just hit a seat on the breaking ball.
He's still upset with the home plate umpire. You could almost tell by his body language.
You know what? He may be upset from a couple of times ago when he had the check swing called third. There's a good swing.
That's the tying run at first with 1 out. Vernon Wells, 2 for 3, is singled and doubled. And he is also grounded back to the pitcher's mound. Missed outside with it. Up to this point, Joe Smith, Rafael Perez, and Chris Perez have come in and they've thrown strikes. 22 pitches, 16 have been strikes.
Well, that's the key to the bullpen. They tell you, you can't walk anybody. You got to come out there and you got to pound the strike zone.
That one was almost headed to the backstop. Santana did a nice job. And keep that one from getting away. 3-1 the count, though.
Overthrew that slider.
Three-one pitch. Up the middle, double play ball. Indians turn 2. Nicely done by Nix and Hernandez on to Laporta. And Chris Perez gets out of what could have been a potential mess. The bottom of the 8th inning. And the Blue Jays go to their bullpen for the first time tonight. Left-hander Scott Downs coming on for Toronto. His 36th appearance of the year. 2 wins, 5 losses, ERA 3.13.
Well, a guy that's been with Toronto for a while. This is game number 316 for him in his Blue Jays career. Well, and you're coming on to face Hafner, Peralta, Laporta.
And the pitch to Hafner is down low for ball 1. Travis tonight 0 for 2, hit by a pitch in the 6th inning. And he came around to score the go-ahead run on a suicide squeeze.
And he executed the base running of it very nicely.
Hafner blisters one through the shift. And a leadoff single for Prunk. Take a look at our Miller Taste Greatness moment. Let's go back to 1994 on this date. Albert Bell facing Alan Mills of the O's, and did he get on top of that?
To the wall. It's up. It's gone. The Indians win. Albert Bell, a one-out home run.
A walk-off winner for Albert Bell and the Tribe on this date in 1994.
Look at there, Sandy greeting them, Serena, Ramirez, Vizquel, Ruben Amaro.
Ruben Amaro, yeah, I just noticed him in there.
That was the start of a nice run there for the Indians.
John Buck and Scott Downs discuss strategy with Johnny Peralta at the plate. Maybe, was he only on for 1 hitter, do you suppose?
No.
Yep, here comes Cito.
Well, he came on just to face Hafner. The matchups, man, it's amazing how a lot in the last few weeks that we've seen matchups, and they've all failed.
Well, we'll see how this one works out for Cito Gaston and the Jays when we come back. And Cito Gaston had Scott Downs on, presumably only to face the 1 hitter. Now, had he retired Travis Hafner, maybe he would have stayed with him. But once he gave up the hit to Hafner, the lefty is out, and the right-hander Sean Camp coming on to face Johnny Peralta.
Camp, a guy that's appearing for the 35th time this year. He ties the team lead now with now Downs just went in for the 36th time, so these guys get used a lot.
Johnny Peralta doubled his last time up.
Boy, really set up that 6th inning, too, because Hafner led off that inning being hit by a pitch. They had 2nd and 3rd. and nobody out, but they could only squeeze a run home. They could have had a big inning. They did not do it. They were able to get one, and that's the difference in the ball game right now, that one run on the squeeze play.
Down low, 2 balls and a strike. Beg your pardon, 1-1. Hafner takes off. Peralta punches it in the air to left, and Pronk will have to retreat. Lewis makes the catch. 1 down.
Well, celebrate Independence Day weekend. The Athletics will be in town Friday night. There's going to be a great show. Saturday night, another great show. So we're going to kick it off in style for the Independence Day weekend this Friday. Student ID night also takes place. Half-price tickets.
Matt Laporta steps in, 1 for 2 on the night. He has singled, walked, and grounded out. Laporta checks down with third base coach Steve Smith. Hafner, the runner at first. Almost had him leaning, but Pronk able to get back safely. Here's the 0-1. A little bit too high. Tonight after the game, join Chuck Galletti for Chuck's Last Call, presented by PNC Bank. He'll take your calls and emails following the Conrad's Tire Express and Total Car Care post-game show. Chuck's Last Call, presented by PNC Bank, tonight after the game right here on STO. Laporta yanking it down the line, but foul. Hit off the side wall. We just left Cincinnati, where the Reds were talking about a big series coming up with Philly and then a big road trip after that. Cincinnati taking care of business tonight. They lead the Phillies 6-1 in the 8th inning. Harry Wood getting ready to come on in the 9th. The 1-2 to Laporta. High drive. Deep left. Back goes Lewis, looking up, and it's off the wall, high off the wall. Into third is Hafner. Laporta rolls into second base with a 1-out double. Boy, he didn't miss by much.
No, he got a breaking ball, too. He stayed on. That Camp hung him one, and he hit it. Thought it was going to be off the wall. Watching Lewis play out there, just hit off that top part of the left field. Well, what's that, 19 feet out there? Watch this. A breaking ball stayed on the middle part of the plate to the inside part. He was able to just get it. He didn't hit it all that hard, but he got enough of it.
Just below.
Yeah, just below it. He hit it about 18 feet high.
You know, and I didn't have my eye on Hafner. I was watching the ball, but, you know, Travis has got to be watching the outfielder to see if he's... I think Lewis was trying to maybe deke him into thinking he could catch that. Blue Jays have the infield in now. Jason Nix.
Well, they have to now. They have to be ready because this guy did
the
squeeze
scenario.
One in.
This is the scenario.
But different pitcher. You got a right-handed pitcher now. He's going to keep his eye on it, where Hafner came in off Romero, where it was the left-hander. A little easier to do.
Fouled back. Second and third with a one out here in the 8th. Infield drawn in as Nix tries to give the Indians some insurance. But he strikes out. 2 down. So the Blue Jays will back up their infield to normal depth. And Anderson Hernandez will be the batter. Are we having another pitching change?
Yeah, looks like it.
You're going to spin Anderson Hernandez around, huh?
We'll see. Well, maybe he's just out to talk to him. Got Crow on deck. Yeah, he just came out to deliver a little message here. You know, normally Cito Gasson, not a guy that goes out to the mound, often at all. But he had a message that he wanted to relay. He got his point across.
So Anderson Hernandez, 0 for 2, walked back in the second inning. And it's outside for ball 1. One ball, one strike. Fred Lewis really shortened up in left field, trying to take away the opposite field slap hit. Center fielder Vernon Wells is also shortened up and shading Hernandez a little bit toward the left.
Boy, you'd love to see a little insurance right here. A 2-1 ball game. Opportunity presents itself.
Ground ball nicely stopped by Hill, and from his knees throws out Hernandez. So the Indians threaten but do not score. And we'll go to the 9th. Kerry Wood will try to nail it down when we come back. Adam Lynn, Aaron Hill, Lyle Overbay due up for the Blue Jays. Kerry Wood to try and save it for the second day in a row. Boy, he looked almost unhittable yesterday.
He was very good yesterday. Yes, he was.
Andy Marte takes over at first base here in the 9th inning. Adam Lynn, 1 for 3 tonight, will lead it off. There's a strike on the outside edge, and the count 0-2. Ooh, that was pretty tantalizing off-speed pitch. Lynn wouldn't offer at it.
He wraps it around.
Fairchild wouldn't call it a strike.
Tried to come in the back door. The outside, just a little bit off.
Popped him up behind the plate. Santana gives it a look, but it's in the seats. Kerry Wood struck out the side in the 9th inning yesterday in Cincinnati, and afterward he joked, where's that been for the last couple of years? Swung out and missed. He strikes out Adam Lynn.
Well, that ball, I'm not sure what that pitch was. It wasn't a breaking ball. I don't know if that was that. It was a cutter that he tried to throw that he got under, but it stayed out. Didn't come in and got the strikeout.
Aaron Hill waves at that pitch. He's 0 for 3 tonight. Hill with a fly ball left field. Kearns calling for it. 2 down. Stick around after the ball game for the Conrad's Tire Express and Total Car Care post-game show. We'll have the highlights. Talk to one of the heroes from tonight's win. And we'll get you set up for Game 2 in this 4-game series between the Indians and the Blue Jays. It's all straight ahead. But first, Kerry Wood has to finish the deal here. Lyle Overbay 1 for 3. Singled his last time up. And he gets ahead with a first pitch strike. Oh, that was nasty. 0-2. Being able to establish his fastball makes this pitch really filthy.
Yes, it does. Boy, they've been swinging at air.
The 2-strike pitch. And Overbay laid off that time. Under 12,000 here at Progressive Field, but they're on their feet. And the 1-2 pitch. Again, Overbay lays off. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 down, bases empty. 2-1, Indians lead. Ground ball, it's in the hole past a diving Nix. And the Blue Jays are still alive here with 2 down and the tying run at first base. We'll get a pinch runner, or will we?
It's a little cutter right there that he left up in the strike zone. Overbay able to hit it and get it into the hole. Yeah, we're going to see a pinch runner. That's
he can't find
run.
a helmet. He's down there trying to find a helmet. Keeps changing. Now he's got one he likes. And that pinch runner for Toronto will be number 21, Nick Green. But Overbay has the Blue Jays still kicking. John Buck 0 for 3, the batter. And it's outside, ball 1. One and one to count. Missed outside, 2-1. John Buck struck out in the second inning and struck out in the 7th. In between, he flied to left. Jake Westbrook started tonight's game, went 6 innings, allowed 1 run on 6 hits, walked 1, struck out 4. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 down. Joe Smith, Rafael Perez, and Chris Perez combined for 2 scoreless innings of relief. And now Kerry Wood trying to close it out. The 2-2 pitch. It gets away from Santana, rolls over toward the Blue Jay dugout, and down to second base goes Nick Green.
Well, that's the tying run now. Did that ball bounce in front of him over there? I did not see it. Yes, it did. That's going to be a wild pitch out in front of the plate. It goes off the shin guard of Santana. Wild pitch on Wood.
You know, a lot of times you'll see the catchers kind of throw their chest protector in front of a ball like that, but that one looked like it fooled Santana a little bit. Almost as if he wasn't sure.
Out front.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He maybe thought it was going to stay up a little longer than what it did.
That's the first Blue Jays base runner to advance safely since the first inning. Swung on and missed. Kerry Wood nails it down. The Indians win it 2-1. It's their first win this year when they've scored 2 runs or less. They were 0-20. But terrific pitching tonight. Jake Westbrook gets the win. He's now 5-4. Great job by Smith, Rafael Perez, and Chris Perez, and Kerry Wood notches his 7th save of the year. The losing pitcher, and you talk about a tough luck loss tonight, Ricky Romero, only allowed 2 runs in 7 innings, but he drops to 6-4 on the year. With the win, Cleveland is now 28-47. The loss drops Toronto to 40-37 on the year. Time now for our KeyBank Play of the Game, brought to you by KeyBank, banking home of your Cleveland Indians.
Boy, was it ever a play of the game. You're talking about the suicide squeeze where you're going to get the sacrifice fielder's choice. Half the running at third base, Jason Nix put down a beautiful suicide squeeze bunt. Romero comes in, tries to make a just sensational play. Couldn't get it out of the glove. And that's what won them the ball game. Their third squeeze play of the year. That's our KeyBank key play of the game.
Now the Indians have won back-to-back ball games after that 7-game losing streak, and not many times they've been able to win a series opener.
Series opener, their first win on Monday this year. As you mentioned, scoring 2 or less, they were 0-20, and it was nice to come on home and win a ball game.